to the Saturday lights, breaking down the tide. Every wrong, every right, got the insight, fire and the Bama pride. When the Crimson's on the line, we alone for the ride. Bama voices on the call, we gon' break it all down. Roll it up. From the rumble in the trenches to the kings of the crown. Roll it up. Yeah, the tide runs deep and the show runs strong. Jack, Jeff, Trev, keep it rolling all season long. Every snap, every play, every headline drop. If it's Bama on the field, you know we never stop. Fast take, big stakes, Tide talk all day. Alabama by CFB, we don't play. Christian spirit in the air, let the good times flow. Times flow. Roll it up. Only one place to be when you love.
Good evening and welcome to the 75th edition of Alabama Crimson Tide Live from yours truly, Jackson Johnson and Trevion Ware. We'll be joined by Jeffrey Donnie Talk Sports in just a little bit as we'll be going over Elijah Haven on the likelihood of going to Alabama. Is Monshawn Sales a future Heisman winner for the Alabama Crimson Tide? And much, much more. We've got it all right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. But let me tell you something, folks. It's going to be a wild ride. How you doing today, good buddy?
Doing good. Really ready to dive into more so of the 2026 Alabama Crimson Tide with hearing some things from Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb recently today in Montgomery in Alabama. And I think Grubb was in Florida. I'm not 100% sure, but they definitely dropped some gems today on the future of Alabama in the 2026 season. So ready to dive into that immediately.
Oh, absolutely, man. And before we really get this show started, we just want to let you know this show is presented by FanDuel, our partners, where you can get top-notch predictions in the world of college basketball, college football, Super Bowl 60, the upcoming Major League Baseball season, the NBA season, and much more. And if you're creating the perfect parlay for Monday night, or like matter of fact on Wednesday, Thursday, what would it be exactly?
You said Wednesday, Thursday. It depends on what we're talking about. Because like right now, my mom really owned the Super Bowl this Sunday with the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. Honestly, if I was creating a parlay off of that game, obviously the focus is the two quarterbacks. Number one, Drake May and Sam Darnold. Honestly, I would probably start looking at some of Sam Darnold's rushing yards just with Seattle's fierce defensive line and stuff like that. Drake May has proven to be a runner in these NFL playoffs and throughout this NFL season. So I would probably lean towards some Drake May rushing props or something like that. I also would lean towards on the Seattle Seahawks side. Obviously, you got to start out with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Going against that Patriots defense, I like Seattle in that matchup. I'll probably be looking at Jackson Smith and Jigba receptions or something like that, or maybe even trying to think who else on there. Maybe even something with Cooper Kupp or maybe Raqeed Shaheed, Seattle's fast wide receiver from the New Orleans Saints, who they made a trade for this offseason. So I'd definitely be looking at stuff like passing yards, props, receptions, touchdowns. Obviously, I love me a good touchdown for sure. Also can look at on the Patriots side, you can look at Stephon Diggs and some of his receptions and stuff like that. FanDuel definitely got all you need if you want to look at the over, the under, the spread, things of that nature. FanDuel will definitely get you squared away and ready to play by Super Bowl Sunday. So you definitely want to tap in with them, our partners who help carry out the show and help us power the show. So we definitely appreciate our guys at FanDuel. So if you definitely want to looking to get some action this week on the big game, tap in with FanDuel.
Got it all right here on FanDuel. And what do you know? They've already got some way too early 2026 predictions for the NFL on who's going to go to Super Bowl 61. I'm like, they're really thinking far out into the future.
My vision can't even stretch that far. I'm already looking at the Alabama Crimson Tide though in their season though. Like I said, Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb really said some key things today that I think a lot of Alabama fans can get excited about just with some future prospects that's already came in. And I'm talking about no other than early enrollee wide receiver Sadarian Morgan and home state running back, EJ Carell. He was one of the top running backs in the class of 2026. He reclassified and still was the top running back. So I definitely am excited to hear what Coach Grubb has to say here.
Let's hear it.
I'm here with Coach Ryan Grubb from the Alabama Crimson Tide. Coach, you're here with a lot of high school coaches in Alabama. How important is recruiting in Alabama to you?
Well, it's the lifeblood of the program. It starts here. It starts in Alabama. You look at a couple of guys we brought in this year with EJ and Sedarian, and that's what Alabama's been built on for a long, long time.
Yeah, what stands out to you about those two guys?
Wow. They're already here on campus, back in Tuscaloosa, but really, there's a lot of physical characteristics that both of them have. They're outstanding players, but the maturity and the mindset that those two guys have already at this point in their career has been really impressive. So I'm excited to see what they can do this year. They're not going to have to wait long to get on the field.
And another young guy is Keelan Russell. You've got a year and a half with him in the program now. What have you learned about him?
Yeah, Key is a special kid. Our quarterback room in general, I think a lot of people were waiting to see what we do in the portal, and with Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, we got exactly who we need. They're two of the best quarterbacks in the country. Keelan's special. He's got incredible vision, mindset, and just his intelligence on the field is special.
You're making some changes. What improvements do you want to see on the offensive line?
Well, I know everybody's dying to see a little bit better in the run game. Obviously, I would be one of those people. And I think for us, the physical mindset that we got to have week in and week out in the SEC to be successful running the football will be paramount to how we can play next year on offense.
There we go. That feels pretty good. Seeing Ryan Grubb giving those updates.
Yeah, most definitely, especially when you talk about two young players in EJ Carell and Sedarian Morgan. First, I'll start out with Sedarian Morgan. You're talking about a kid who's in the state of Alabama already, just like EJ Carell. But Sedarian Morgan really excites me just because he's coming off a senior year where he caught 82 passes for 14,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. In the year before, he did he obviously doubled his numbers senior year, but you can argue that his junior year was just as impressive. You talk about a kid who caught 70 receptions for 1,162 yards and 14 touchdowns. Coming in as a five-star, being 6'4", being 210 pounds, he fits the bill of exactly what Alabama football is looking for. And obviously with the youth on offense, he's definitely going to be a player that we'll be seeing early, I believe so. And just because on top of that, some of the losses they took in that receiver room, you talk about them losing their most productive receiver in Jeremy Bernard, who's taking his talents to the NFL. Then you talk about them losing their second most productive receiver in Isaiah Horton, who hit the transfer portal to take his talents to Texas A&M. So that leaves empty seats up front just for Sedarian Morgan. And we're seeing it on film now, that jump ball ability, being 6'4", 210 pounds. He already comes in bigger than most receivers on the roster outside of Derek Morgan, and just that catch radius ability that we continue to see. And then on top of that, just the kid has already been impressive in the early goings as an early enrollee. So I'm definitely excited about Mr. Sedarian Morgan. And when we just see it again, his ability to stretch the field, his ability to go up and make the big catch over defenders, literally, you can't teach that. That's something that you definitely can't teach, and that's something that Alabama is definitely going to be coveting in their offensive system this year. Obviously, getting Ryan Williams back on track is the number one point for a lot of fans, but you can definitely lean on this kid. I definitely think he's the talent is beyond his years, literally. And then you talk about the other receivers that they have in that receiver room, returning Lasir Brooks, who came on late at the end of the year, and then you return a player like Rico Scott, who's hungry to make his impact this year. And then obviously with the big fish they got it with the big acquisition they got from NC State and Noah Rogers. So I think this receiver room is going to be very slept on, but a player like Sedarian Morgan can definitely make it pop early. It's going to be a sight to see, man, because this kid ready. I definitely believe he's ready for sure.
Oh, no doubt. Just seeing Sedarian Morgan part of that receiver core for 2026, that's going to be huge. I would not be surprised if we're seeing him break out in the month of September and October.
For sure.
And we see him on top 10 plays of the night from Sports Center.
Yeah, he's definitely got that type of ability, man. That size, man. Like I said, he He used to play basketball on top of that, so he can use that size to kind of box out some of those smaller defenders and stuff like that. And plus, he's going to be going against bigger defenders in practice, like a Dijon Lee, like a Xavier Brown and stuff like that. So those, especially Xavier Brown, even though he's 6'2", he's still one of the best cornerbacks in the country returning, and he's definitely going up against that every day. That's like iron sharpening iron. But enough about Sedarian Morgan. Obviously, I can go on about him all day and day. But Ryan Grubb also mentioned E.J. Carrell. E.J. Carrell is a special running back. He's a monster, like literally. Like when we talk about what Alabama lacked in the running game last year, he brings that. And especially being a kid that rushed for 2,632 yards and 35 touchdowns, led his team to the state championship. He brings power. He brings speed. He can run in between the tackles. He can bounce it out on the outside like we're seeing right now. He like a Mack truck. You can't get him down. Yes, he 5'11", but he run with a lot of anger and aggression, and that's definitely something I like to see in my running back. So I'm definitely excited about E.J. Carrell. Of course, the offensive line and the run game go hand in hand, and Coach Grubb also hinted on that earlier with Alabama bringing in 6 new offensive linemen in the transfer portal and then getting new offensive line coach Adrian Kim is definitely setting the tables for E.J. Carrell to feast. And then you think about some of the other running backs that they have in their running back room. Obviously, Daniel Hill. You talk about a kid like A.K. Deere. You talk about a kid like I forgot his name.
Daniel Hill.
No, I just said that, man. I'm talking about number 28, Kevin Riley. Yeah. See, Kevin Riley. Talk about Kevin Riley. He already showed you what he could do when he gets some daylight. And then you talk about the running back that they just brought in this past weekend, Khalifa Keith. And then you talk about even Trayshawn Brown, a 3-star athlete who's going to be playing running back for Alabama. He's definitely impressive. So with Alabama getting the number 1 running back in the nation in E.J. Carrell, and then already having a stable of backs and stuff, obviously fans are going to want to see some production out of that position group after, the Alabama run game was really pedestrian all last year, and they literally, they had the talent, in my opinion, but you can't do nothing when you're not getting no push up front. But the Alabama definitely specialized on getting right in the trenches this offseason. And obviously you got to coach that up. But when you got somebody like that running behind it, you definitely the emphasis is definitely going to be on development and coaching that up. So I'm definitely excited about seeing E.J. Carrell and seeing the other running backs, because if you get the run game going, Alabama always able to get the pass game going, but if you get the run game going, that's only going to make a player like a Sedarian Morgan better, make a player like a Noah Rogers better. Obviously Ryan Williams, I believe he's gonna bounce back for sure, so that's gonna make it better. And then you talk about some of the younger dudes in there like a Derek Meadows and like I said, Rico Scott, he one of the most slept on receivers to me because he already showed me what he can do. It's just about getting him in space and getting him the ball. So I definitely think with Alabama having a stable of running backs and them focus on the offensive line, it definitely can be something special. I mean, a lot of people probably snoring at what I'm saying, but hey, they'll see in the fall. But I'm definitely excited to hear what Ryan Grubb was able to say about these 2 young individuals up front today. So, Kalen DeBoer also spoke on how he was impressed with Sedarian Morgan as well. And he obviously he can put it into better terms than me, but he also marveled at the kid this past weekend in Montgomery.
Oh, here we go.
I did get a chance to see him a little bit more just because he was practicing with us before we went, on our bowl games, our playoff games. And so really impressed with him. Moves extremely well, very fluid, big hands, catches the ball, very strong at the point of attack with the ball. I know a lot of guys, players included, were impressed with what they saw just in a couple of practices that he was with us. I did get it.
There we go. Oh,
yeah,
he was happy.
Yeah, one of those players that Kalen DeBoer was talking about, it was Jeremy Bernard. Like I said, Sedarian Morgan had already been an early enrollee and stuff, and he got to practice with some of the older guys before Jeremy Bernard obviously took his talents to the NFL, wishing him the best most definitely. But Jeremy Bernard also spoke on him. Jeremy Bernard was basically saying the kid's got all the talent in the world. He's got all the attributes that you want out of a receiver. Just with size, strength, ability, speed. He can play the inside, he can play the outside and stuff like that. So Jeremy Bernard already given the head nod on his way on his way out the door. That only gives me hope. So I'm definitely excited to see what Sadarian Morgan can do. And like I said, if Sadarian Morgan pop off, and then Ryan Williams come out, he's supposed to come, and then you got just the other receivers in the room, man, it could definitely get scary. I mean, obviously, Ryan Grubb said some stuff about the quarterbacks too with Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. I believe he said they got the best, two of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And from a talent standpoint, I definitely think Keelan Russell and Austin Mack, what they bring to the table and how physical they are, and just how humble they are. Both re-signed this offseason when they could have easily left. Either one or the other could have easily left, but they're leaning into this competition aspect of the offseason where both will battle this offseason to see who's going to be the starter. So, competition only going to breed the best out of both of them. So I'm definitely excited from what I've heard from both coaches today. And, obviously the players got to go out and do it, but at the same time, they have the talent and they have the right people that believe in them, and they have the right structure around them. So I definitely am excited to see what things they put into motion this offseason.
Yeah, it's going to be fun seeing what Morgan and Crowell bring. And, if anybody can have a breakout season in their freshman years, it's definitely those two guys. They've got a great chance at it.
Yeah, for sure. You talk about going back to Morgan. He was the number 2 nationally ranked receiver in his class. And then with Crowell, he was the number 1 ranked running back in his class. And he reclassified, and he's still highly regarded like that. That says a lot because, you got some senior running backs. He's supposed to be a senior right now, literally. And he passed up the seniors that were in this class. So I think that definitely says a lot about what those two are capable to do in a Crimson Tide uniform. So, like I said, they obviously got to do it, but no pressure from us, but still the same. I'm ready to see them do it.
Oh yeah, we're set. We're ready to roll. I'm just counting down to 2026 already.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely ready to see what happens this offseason in spring ball and obviously fall camp. Yeah, I'm gonna be down there for sure, looking at some stuff with my own eyes, so I can get my own visuals and stuff. Because some people are gonna be hopping on the TL saying what they want to say and stuff like that, good or bad. So obviously, I'm gonna go see it with my own eyes. But I'm definitely ready to see those two for sure.
There we go. And before we get to our next topic, which we'll definitely be talking a little bit about Elijah Haven and Monshawn Sales, we've got some merch on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. Got it all right here, especially for that special someone for Valentine's Day. There's the t-shirts, the dad hat, the trucker hat, the polo shirt, the heavyweight t-shirt, the classic sweatshirt. Ooh, definitely need one of those.
Yeah, I'm a sweatshirt guy myself, so yeah.
Oh, there you go, man. And you got the tumbler cup, the can cooler, and the game day mug. We got it all right here. And any other merch that you would like to see on the VOCFB website, email voiceofcollegefootball@gmail.com for anything you would like to see in the merch store. And I'm sure it can be added.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially a Voice College Football Journal where it keeps all your secrets safe and sound. All righty, so Monshawn Sales was on Instagram, putting a little something on his Instagram stories, but he was also posting on his Ets account, and we saw this. Ooh, future Heisman winner. I like that.
Yeah, good old Heisman Trophy, man. Obviously, Devontae Smith being the only receiver in program history to bring that award back to T-Town. But then you obviously seeing Derrick Henry and Bryce Young and stuff like that. Obviously, Alabama got a lot of capable athletes on this roster that could win it. But with Marshawn Sells, he's in the class of 2027. One of the most highly ranked receivers in the class of 2027. He came to Tuscaloosa this past weekend at Alabama's Junior Day, and obviously he got inspired by that. And, I think that's a big sign. I mean, obviously he got some other high-level interest from high-level programs. When you talk about Indiana, the kid is from Indiana, and Indiana winning the national championship and stuff like that. Signetti is hot on his trail, but they only got one Heisman winner. I mean, but they got the latest Heisman winner in Fernando Mendoza. So, he might be able to, he might want to add one there, but still the same. He saw a vision when he came down this past weekend. And, I like the kid's confidence for sure, because he definitely has the tools to do so. You talk about a receiver that's already of NFL size, being 6'5", being 205 pounds. Obviously, you got to get a little bit more weight on him, but still the same. He definitely got everything you want in a receiver, all the attributes. You talk about a dude that caught over 11 touchdowns last year, that had over 1,400 yards, had over 70 catches. He does it all, literally. So I'm definitely loving the young man's confidence, and I'm loving the fact that he enjoyed his visit, because that definitely shows us that he enjoyed his visit this past weekend. Saw a picture with him and all the quarterbacks. Saw him with Keelan Russell and Austin Mack, and even some of the other quarterbacks, on the roster. So, he's already getting ingratiated with the quarterbacks and stuff like that, looking at who can potentially be throwing him the ball in the future. So, I definitely love this post, and I'm definitely loving what Marshawn Sells could potentially bring to the Alabama Crimson Tide. He's one of their finalists in his top schools. So I'm definitely hoping, all we can do is hope. We're not in these kids' minds, but I'm definitely hoping that, that picture is foreshadowing something in the future.
I think it does. It's definitely saying that, he's definitely getting closer to his commitment date. We don't know when it's going to be yet, but is he committing to Bama? Well, the signs are showing it's pretty good, especially when he's posting something like that.
Yeah, most definitely. And then you talk about when I just got through talking about quarterbacks, obviously Alabama had another quarterback down in Tuscaloosa on Junior Day, and I'm talking about no other than the number one quarterback in the class of 2027, Elijah Haven. Elijah Haven has already been predicted to potentially commit to the University of Alabama. Obviously, the kid's a senior, so you got to hold that commitment through senior year. But he's already got Alabama in his top four, along with Georgia, along with Auburn, along with Florida. And you talk about a kid that broke the Louisiana State record books and basically rewrote them. Those books are his. Now he led the state of Louisiana in total touchdowns with 72 touchdowns. And just with that size, he's 6'5", 235 pounds. I mean, God, like, the dude's a monster. We've already been talking about him in past episodes here on the Alabama channel at the Voice of College Football, and for good reason. I mean, obviously Alabama got a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of talented quarterbacks in that quarterback room. They also had Alabama commit Trent Seaborn, who is another good young prospect. He was on the visit as well. But for Alabama, for him to know that, and he's still thinking about putting that ink to paper with the Crimson Tide, I mean, I think that says a lot. I mean, for sure.
Oh, man, just like looking at it, just like I'm feeling pretty good about it. But when he did say that he was originally going to make his decision in January, but he kind of had to push it back due to the staff changes in the basketball schedule. So we're going to wait and see when that date's going to be. I suspect it's going to be sometime in March, but it could be sometime in April or May when we know the decision where Elijah Haven's going to go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we just got through talking about Marshawn Sells. Him and Marshawn Sells are actually good friends for what I hear. Both of them was down there this past weekend at the junior day, and Marshawn said, Elijah Haven waiting for some stuff to some dominoes to fall and stuff like that. He said with the basketball season, so he getting ready to get on that hardwood and hoop. So I love young players who are two-sport athletes at their respective high schools and stuff like that. So kind of just let the young man focus on the basketball season and stuff, because the football stuff definitely gonna be there. You talk about a kid that's highly coveted around the nation. I mean, he could easily go to Georgia and be their number one. If he go to Auburn, he definitely gonna be their number one. He go to Florida, he definitely gonna be their number one, especially with them losing DJ Lagway and stuff like that. And this being kind of like a bridge year. I mean, I don't know exactly who their starting quarterback is, but I would imagine if he committed to any one of those other schools, he would have a good chance of starting. But even with that being said, because they don't have as deep as quarterback rooms as Alabama has, and even with that being said, Haven is still has Alabama high on his radar, knowing the competition he got in. So I love that from that standpoint, because he ready to come compete. He feel like he the best, so he not worrying about who's here. He ready to come compete. So I definitely love that from Haven, and then love the confidence from Marshawn Sells. So it could be some pretty big things coming from Alabama this spring. I mean, spring is really where Alabama usually strike hot, and with Kalen DeBoer bringing in consecutive top 5 recruiting class. I think his first recruiting class was number 3 in the nation in 2025, and then this past year I think it's number 5 now. So that's still top 5 recruiting classes. And a lot of people saying that Kalen DeBoer couldn't recruit in the South, but he continues to rack up these top classes and bring in these top athletes. So I'm definitely impressed with the job that Kalen DeBoer and staff have been able to do. Him, Courtney Morgan, Ryan Grubb, the defensive staff as well. Definitely want to give our kudos to the defensive staff. But it's definitely some good talent out there, and it's the fact that they have Alabama high on their radar. So I'm definitely excited to see what happens this spring. Even if it edge into the summer, hey, let these kids take their time, man. This is an important time in their life. So I'm definitely excited just to see whatever they come up with. But obviously got my fingers crossed for the Crimson Tide, but we'll see.
There we go. Because you want to make that wide receiver room deeper, and you want to make sure that QB room is deeper. And, over the weekend, we did talk about how there could be a quarterback log jam if Haven does commit to Bama, but that's a good problem to have, as you and I both stated over the weekend.
Yeah, it definitely can be a big problem to have. Obviously, it's a big if, but if Haven did commit, you just talk about all the quarterbacks that would be in that room, man. Obviously, Austin Mack, he's there. He's redshirt junior now, so he will be the oldest in that room. And then you talk about Keelan Russell, who's next up. I definitely feel like Keelan Russell next up, being the highest rated recruiting program in history. They definitely want to see some return on that investment coming very soon. And then you talk about just some of the talented quarterbacks they have after that. You talk about a quarterback like a Jet Tamala, who was also with Marshawn Sells on that visit this past weekend. You talk about a quarterback in Taden Kwawa. I hope I didn't say his last name wrong. He got a Hawaiian last name. So did I say it right, Jackson? I'm just trying to make sure.
Kwawa, yeah.
Caden Kwawa. Yeah, Caden Kwawa, who's also a 4-star that they signed in their 2026 recruiting class. Him and Tamala both being Tamala just getting that 5th star the other day, and giving the Kalen DeBoer back-to-back 5-star quarterbacks in recruitment. That's the first time, I think, in program history. I'm not 100% sure on that. I got to go fact check that, but that's definitely one of the most notable signings of this recruiting class. Then you talk about the other quarterback who was also in Tuscaloosa this past weekend at Junior Day, and Trent Seaborn. And then if you add Haven to the mix, that's 6 quarterbacks, literally. I mean, I know it's only one football, but having all that talent in there, obviously that could cause a log jam. But like I said, Haven already knowing what's here, and he's still having that on his mind, making Crimson Tide the potential number 1 school for him. And like I said, Keelan Russell already coming into the program as the highest rated recruit back in 2025 from Duncanville, Texas. And then you talk about Austin Mack, who's raw, but he's been waiting, and it's his fourth year in Kalen DeBoer's system. And then Jet Tamala, that's nobody to snooze on either. He being the highest rated recruit at the state of Nebraska, and him coming down here and taking a chance on himself, and Taden Qual, another quarterback who's also talented. I think he about 6'4" and a half. So the shortest quarterback in that room, I think would be let me think. I think the shortest quarterback in that room is probably it's probably Tamala. I think Tamala's 6'2". I'm not 100% sure, but still the same. If the smallest quarterback in the room being 6'2", being 6'1", you look at all that size, or you look at all that raw athleticism, you look at all that talent, man, it's definitely a good problem to have. I mean, a lot of programs wish they scrambling for a quarterback now. I mean, I don't want to throw nobody under the bus, but at the same time I do. You look at a school like Tennessee, who definitely was at the doorstep of every college football program this past offseason in the transfer portal, and looking for their quarterback. And obviously Alabama doesn't have a entrenched starter this year, with Ty Simpson leaving that seat empty as he took his talents to the NFL draft. But still the same. I think it's a reason why we don't have a quarterback specifically named yet, because it's too early to say, man. The talent jumps off the charts for all the quarterbacks there. And I mean, obviously with Haven, it's a big if with him. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at him though if he went to Georgia or anything. I don't want to promote no other schools on here, but I wouldn't be mad at it, because the kid definitely, I feel like he definitely could jump in as a true freshman and make some noise just off his size alone. You gotta think about it, dude. Dude is 6'5", 235 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he got a lot of learning to do, but he already the size of some NFL quarterbacks now. He's the exact size of Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert. So, from that perspective right there, I mean, it's no telling, man. But, if Haven does decide that Alabama is the place for him, it's definitely going to be some type of log jam, man. Like, for real, just, because like I said, there's only one football. I mean, but these kids are humble. Keelan Russell was definitely humble this past year. Austin Mack has definitely shown the ability to be humble, being, like I said, in the system now under DeBoer for 4 years, following him from Washington to Alabama, and, looking to have his chance this year. And then Jet Tamala as well. I definitely feel like he feels like he's obviously these kids feel like they're ready, but you got to learn and stuff like that. You gotta be humble in this process, but at the same time, you pick out any one of these quarterbacks. Any program in college football would love to have them. And if any of these quarterbacks were at any other school, I definitely feel like they would have already been named the starter going into spring practice already. So with the fact that all of them wanted to come and compete and prove their worth, I mean, I think that speaks volumes just to the job that Kalen DeBoer is able to do as a recruiter, and what he's building within the program, and stuff like that. So it definitely be interesting to see what Haven does. But like I said, if he does come, it's a good problem to have. I mean, like I said, you got other programs in college football wishing they had that type of talent in the room. So I'm definitely excited to see what happens this next year and a half with Haven, whatever he decides. I mean, I won't hate it if he decides to do nothing else, because I definitely understand. But it is what it is. But we'll see. But we might be getting ahead of ourselves just a little bit, because like I said, decisions still have to be made on other parts and stuff like that. A lot of dominoes can fall left, right, or smack dab in the middle. So we'll just see.
Yeah, because I mean, you want to think one thing at a time, but we don't even know when the decision date's going to be just yet. But we will let you know as soon as we know it. All right here on Alabama, the voice of college football.
Yeah, most definitely.
But ladies and gentlemen, you're always tuning in to see what we're doing on Mondays, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Alabama Call-In Show, 9 p.m. Central and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday nights. Well, guess what? You can also tune in to what we're doing on Apple Podcast, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. And I can tell you, it's always a fun ride anytime you have to go to the gym or you got to go to the grocery store, or if you're just running an errand, the perfect thing to do is just put on those earbuds and turn it on Alabama with the Voice of College Football on your phone or on your radio. You'll definitely get a kick out of hearing us giving out that magic all right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football.
Yeah, most definitely. And even if you just at the house need something to listen to, just relaxing in the confinements of your own home, we definitely got what you need. We definitely appreciate all our streaming platforms who have took a chance on us here at the Alabama channel to partner up with us. So we definitely want to give them their love as well. Like my good partner in crime, Jackson, said, we got it on Spotify, we got it on TikTok, we got it on Facebook, we got everything you need. Anywhere you get your streaming anywhere you get your streaming platforms from, will definitely be there. So come for the story, come for the sports, and stay for the stories. We definitely appreciate you.
Oh yeah, you could check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and let me see. Yeah, because we've got it on Spotify.
So we not forgetting nobody, because we definitely appreciate all our partners.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you want to check us out all right there, because we've got all kinds of magic coming up all right there. What do we have here? What do we have here? Oh, there we go. There we go. The Spotify link. There you go. Check us out all right there. Booyah.
Yes, sir. It's right there in the bottom right-hand corner right there. Next to the at Alabama VLC page is right there. So definitely tap in if you can. And also, if you haven't already, use this time now to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. We definitely appreciate all our viewers. We definitely appreciate everybody who gives us that engagement and traffic. Feel free to drop a comment on any topic that you feel we haven't discussed that we need to talk about. We definitely can take that time out to do so. So we definitely appreciate you if you would do so. And it helps us keep the show going. It helps us power the show. And it helps us build that relationship with everybody that's listening. We definitely appreciate and we definitely value all the comments, all the positive, negative. We feed off that, so we definitely appreciate that.
Agreed. And you can also become a YouTube member at Alabama with the Voice of College Football. For $2.99 a month, you can become a Crimson Faithful member, where you'll have a loyalty badge next to your name in the comments and the live chat. And you can get a custom emoji to use in the comments and the live chat, and you get member shout outs. For $4.99 a month, you can become a Saba Disciple, where you'll get priority replies to comments and access to a monthly hangout from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, Jeffrey Donnie Talk Sports, and of course, Trevion Ware, all right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football and at Bama Hammer at Fansided. And for $9.99 a month, you can become a Bear Bryant legend by connecting on social media with each of us and giving out content requests of any kind. And neither rain nor sleet nor snow nor the weird weather of Alabama will put a stop to us from fulfilling your content request all right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. So today, we got a news report about Gus Malzahn retiring from being a coordinator. He's retired altogether from college football as a whole.
Yeah, I saw that this morning as well. Obviously Alabama fans, they probably wouldn't laugh when they hear that. They probably be rejoicing and stuff, because Gus Malzahn has definitely been a coach that has had Alabama's number in different ways. When you think about it, even going back to the Saban days and stuff, he's just one of those people, that it's been hard to coach against. It's been hard to scheme against, just with the style of defense he brings to the table, and style of offense he brings to the table, and even as a head coach, the defense he brings to the table. So definitely wish Gus Malzahn a good retirement. I'm glad he out the way, because he even last year at Florida State, he gave Alabama a problem, and that's how they started out 0-1. So he knows that program like the back of his hand, but I'm just glad he was able to, walk away from it. So, but that still breeds another problem, because now Alabama is going to be having to prepare for a new offensive coordinator at Florida State. And, he's that offensive coordinator at Florida State. That's going to be one of the many offensive coordinators that they have to prepare for in their first month of the season. You talk about just who they'll be playing in the first month of the season. Eastern Carolina. Eastern Carolina has a new offensive coordinator in Jordan Davis. He's from North Texas. We saw North Texas and what they were able to do with Drew Mestemaker and the North Texas. I think they're the Eagles, right? I don't want to get their name wrong. That's why I was stuttering. Yeah.
Yep. North
Texas Mean Green. My bad. I'm from the area, so I don't know why I'm tripping. Yeah, but the North Texas Mean Green offensive coordinator Jordan Davis taking his town to Eastern Carolina. He'll be up first for Alabama in Week 1 at home. Not really worried about that, but at the same time, a new offensive coordinator, that's something you got to scheme up for defense. So Kane Wormack, I know he got his eyes open to that. And then you look at Week 2 in Kentucky, they'll be facing against Joe Salone. Joe Salone had some success at LSU. Alabama has coached against a Joe Salone type of offense before, but they'll be having to go on the road, and Alabama does have more returning starters on defense than the two that they have on offense, and Ryan Williams and Michael Carroll, but still the same, a new face in a different place that can always breed trouble. So with Eastern Carolina, like I said, Jordan Davis, new offensive coordinator, and then Joe Salone, new offensive coordinator with Kentucky. And then you take that to Week 3, Florida State, after seeing Gus Malzahn leave. I believe their new offensive coordinator is going to be Tim Harris, but I also seen some reports that Mike Novell also might have a hand in the play calling as well. So you can't even sleep on Florida State. That's crazy to say, but Alabama can't sleep because we saw what happened in Week 1 last year and the problems that they gave Alabama defensively. Yes, the defense progressively got better, but still the same. Last time those two got on the football field, we saw what happened, so definitely not going to sleep on them at all. I ain't sleeping on nobody. I give everybody grace, but I ain't sleeping on them at all. And then you move to Week 4, Shane Beamer getting Lenore Sellers back under center. That couldn't hurt. I definitely think Lenore Sellers, when he plays right, he could definitely be one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC, but he'll be coached by Kendall Browse. Kendall Browse came from TCU, and with me being from the Texas area, I already know all about that the air raid offenses that they like to run in Texas. So, with that being said, like I said, Alabama's first 4 opponents, East Carolina, Kentucky, Florida State, and South Carolina, they're all going to have new play callers, really can't say I'm worried about it right now, but, that's definitely something I'm going to be monitoring this offseason because, that breeds a lot of unfamiliarity just on the defensive side of the ball. That's something that Kane Wormack and Freddie Roach and Coach Mo Linguist and the rest of that defensive staff is definitely going to have to prep for. So, that's why I'm just bringing it to the forefront now because that's something that caught my attention today. Obviously, we see Mike Rodek of AL.com, Alabama. He brought it to the attention, and obviously, if he bringing it to the attention, it's definitely something to note. So, just bringing that up with the fire and the Gus Malzahn, Alabama going to be seeing 4 new offensive play callers in the first month of the season. So, defense definitely got to do some studying this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, Kendall Browse has a really extensive history, at not just at South Carolina, but everywhere, just all over the place in college football.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There's no telling what he can bring to the table, literally. So you got to be ready for everything. You got to be ready to bring the whole kitchen and the front sink and everything that they got on defense. I mean, I definitely think the defense is going to be the strength of this team, just having more continuity than the offense, but still the same. Just got to bring that up just because, like I said, I don't remember the first month of the season, as long as I've been watching Alabama football, just watching football, period, a team have to deal with so much uncertainty with those offensive play calls and stuff like that. Yes, those play callers have track records at different places, but, it all being piled up like that in the first season and still trying to figure out stuff on offense. Defense definitely going to have to come ready. But I definitely believe in third-year defensive coordinator Kane Warmack. He obviously has gotten better each year, and they made a focus to strengthen the defensive line this year, losing some key members like Tim Keenan, losing some key members just in that linebacker room as well, like Aquay Saul, who took his talents to Ohio State. You lost James Smith, too, one of Alabama's more violent defenders and stuff like that. So you definitely want to be ready, inserting those new pieces. But I have no doubt that Kalen DeBoer and Kane Warmack and Coach Freddie Roach have the tools to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can be overcome, especially when it's in Tuscaloosa. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But, just kind of like looking at, the new offensive coordinator for Florida State as they promoted him from within, Tim Harris Jr., it's just kind of like looking at his history. I mean, he did pretty good at Central Florida. And, the fact they got a vote of confidence from Malzahn is pretty good right there.
Yeah, and then plus on top of that, you got to look at the quarterback they'll be having. They have Ashton Daniels, who Alabama saw in the last week of the regular season in the Iron Bowl. And Ashton Daniels definitely was a problem with his legs. I mean, he had the highest total rushing yards. I forgot the number. I think it was around 77. And I don't even know, but I know for sure he definitely had the highest amount of rushing yards from a quarterback and stuff like that. And Florida State, what they like to do to try to dictate the clock and break the game down into increments. And Ashton Daniels, a quarterback who's already had success against Alabama in some small spurts, definitely want to just keep an eye out for that. I mean, like I said, younger me would have been like, hey, I ain't worried about all that, man. It's Bama. I ain't worried about all that. But, I done definitely got a little bit more humble and just knowing football how I know it, you can't count nobody out. So that's why we are bringing these type of updates to you, because you never know. So see, and then if something happens in the first month of the season, I just be able to roll back this film and be like, see, I told you. So I'm just saying. So that's why y'all want to keep these type of moves, even if it's under the radar. You want to keep these type of moves, just noted. Even if you put it in your back pocket, in the back of your mind, you just want to note it.
Oh, agreed, man. And we've got our co-host Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports joining us. How are you doing tonight, good buddy?
Doing good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing all right, man. We're doing all right. Just got done talking about Malzahn retiring from college football.
Well, that came out of left field.
That came out of left field. I woke up, I was like, huh? Yeah, so I'm interested
I thought
in
it was a fake post. I saw it on social media. I was like, oh, this is fake. And it was like,
I thought it was something created by AI, honestly.
Yeah, man. That's why I'm very interested to hear your take on that. Obviously, Gus Malzahn, he been the boogeyman for Alabama in a couple seasons. He's even had Saban's number on a couple accounts. So that's why I'm like, you can't even, move like that happened. And I definitely want to hear what you got to say about it, Jeffrey.
For sure. I appreciate that. I mean, it was strange because, looking at, his bio, he's only 60. I mean, that's not extremely old in the coaching realm. I mean, for a lot of professions, 60 is up there, but not coaching. I mean, we're seeing guys coach into their 70s, late 60s all the time. So I think what's the most strange about it is the fact, after, his stint at UCF ended, he could have just retired then. It's just kind of weird that you did the whole Florida State thing, and when he retired, right now, makes zero sense. You think after the season, right? Maybe right after Florida State ended at 5-7, it's like, oh, I'm done. I tried it. I'm done. I'm gonna retire. He does it in February. Mm-hmm. It's just such a random time. I mean, you could be like, well, Florida State's already got all their players. It's before spring ball, so it's kind of a good move, I guess. I don't know. It's just a weird thing that I wasn't expecting. I mean, it doesn't really affect Alabama because, it's not like we play Florida State on a regular basis. It just so happened that we played him when he went there and he got the best of us in week 1. But, yeah, he was.
Florida State on the schedule this year on week 3. So they come to Tuscaloosa.
This year it affects, but like in the future,
yeah,
not so. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess it's a positive for us this year. But I mean, to me, I mean, we shouldn't have lost him last year. So I mean, I guess if we end up steamrolling Florida State this year, it's a good thing that he's gone. But it's strange. It is very, very strange. It doesn't really make sense because like there's not a lot of news going on in college football right now. It's all college basketball as March Madness is getting closer, Super Bowl, NFL, the NBA trade deadline's going on a little bit right now, but like just that was weird. And like I said, when I saw it this morning, I was like, no way.
That's why in the world of college football at this time of the year or when it's in the spring or the dead period, no news is good news, especially for your team. Because if you got news, it's not good.
Well, now Florida State's gonna have to replace them, and it's just a weird time for that to happen. I mean, it maybe not necessarily the worst because again, they got all their players. It's very early, so when spring ball comes, they'll have a new offensive coordinator. I mean, you can look at it positively for them, but it's just still weird because I mean, a lot of people retire at the end of a season. Like, a season's over, you just retire right then and there. Like the day after,
I think what happened was Malzahn felt like 2025 was his final season, but he wasn't saying so publicly. He was just waiting for that perfect time when no one's really watching.
I just don't. Well, the thing is though is two things I slightly disagree with that because I don't completely disagree with that. That kind of makes sense, but he kind of doesn't because when he did it, everyone's paying attention to it because nothing else is going on. It can't really get blown over by other things because there's no other coaching news going on, at least for college football fans.
Right.
So that's number one. Number two, I don't understand why he just did 1 year of offensive coordinator at Florida State and then did this. Because it's like he literally could have just retired after his UCF stint ended a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like you would think because like his UCF stint didn't end well.
No.
So it's like he becomes offensive coordinator of Florida State for what goal? To try to coach again, to try to build up his repertoire again, maybe just be a coordinator for the rest of his career. It just doesn't make sense because to me, it's like, it would have almost made more sense for him just to retire after the UCF. But I mean, maybe he didn't know that he was going to quit now. Maybe it just something came up. I mean, you don't know. I mean, it's just interesting. At the end of the day, I mean, you don't sometimes know what motivates people to make the moves that they do. It's just such a strange way for his career to end. How, I mean, he Arkansas State head coach, Auburn head coach, UCF head coach, then 1 year of Florida State OC, and then he quits. That's just strange.
Yeah, but here's my sort of take on it. I think he probably just waited so long to do Florida State a favor. They are obviously trying to build up their roster and get players and stuff like that. Not saying he tricked those players, but I feel like he had a hand in recruitment this past January. I didn't see Florida State get any notable players, but outside of Ashton Daniels from Auburn, he went to Florida State. I thought that was going to be a match for Florida State, to kind of excel, especially losing Thomas Castellanos and stuff like that. But I really just think he probably just did Florida State a favor, just stayed out long enough for recruiting and get some of them get some help out through the transfer portal and with high school recruitment and stuff like that. They didn't want to lose any recruits, so they kept the move like that, and they're probably going to try to hype up the new offensive coordinator they got. They said they already promoted somebody from within. His name is Tim Smith. I mean, Jackson know more about him than me, but I also heard that Coach Mike Norvell would also have a hand in it. So, it'll be interesting to see how that situation plays out. I mean, Alabama will be able to experience that situation when they come to Bryant-Denny Stadium in week 3. So, but still the same. It's definitely a weird thing. I mean, I definitely didn't expect to see that either. So, seeing that this morning, you got some Alabama fans rejoicing and stuff like that. I mean, I think all Alabama fans would just be rejoicing. Just like I said, with him having he even had Saban's number just for a little bit. It's hard. It's crazy for me to say somebody got Saban's number, but he was able to cause some headaches for Alabama. So the fact that he's gone, like I said, happy to see him go out the door, but it's just a weird thing to see.
Yeah, and by the way, that's a bad look for Auburn. that post that Jackson just had up there. They haven't had a winning season since 2007 without
no,
like that's rough. Like, I know that's slightly coincidental, I guess, because obviously, you know, Chizik and everything with Cam Newton and all that. So he wasn't like the head coach. He was just on the staff. But then he was the head coach in the mid-2010s, and obviously, like you said, had Saban's number at times, and they had some good seasons. But after he got fired, Auburn has just been completely abysmal. So I don't know how Auburn fans feel right now, but it's just with that announcement, but probably just reminiscing of when they didn't completely suck and hoping that they're going to be better now.
Yeah,
man. It's just too funny, you know, just kind of like looking back. Yeah, because it was like 2012, like the moment they were celebrating an overtime win. I believe it was over.
It was Oregon.
Yeah,
you talking about the national championship with Cam Newton? That was Oregon, but you said 2012.
Yeah, 2010 they won it all, of course.
2012 was the year they sucked, right?
3-9. Because I think they beat Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah,
in week 3. They were like drinking and partying after beating a Sunbelt team.
That's like Indiana beating Akron in 4 overtimes. That's the same thing.
And somebody that's on the show, me, I went to the University of Louisiana Monroe. I mean, that school there, I mean, I'll be honest, outside of 2007, they don't got a lot of room for anything.
Yeah, they still talk about that. Like, everybody still talks about that. Oh, Bama, 2007.
It's a Super Bowl down there. That's a Super Bowl down there. You got I remember I had saw some somebody have some posters up about that game back then when I went to the school. So, you know, yeah, it's just crazy, but still the same. Crazy to see Coach Malzahn make the move that he made, but at least Alabama don't got to deal with him no more.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure we'll see Malzahn on ESPN or CBS or NBC. So I'm wondering if TV is going to be his next goal. Like, if he just...
I mean, he's 60. I've been seeing some people talking about he might get into politics or something because ain't the other Auburn coach, he's running for mayor down here in Alabama. That's crazy. I forgot his name, but no, he was running for governor. He was running for governor.
Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah, Tommy Tuberville. I saw that the other day.
The Auburn Bruce Pearl rumors, but that's died away. I don't know.
Bruce Pearl will probably go back into politics. Hugh Freeze is probably going to run for Mississippi senator, but in 2030, I'm sure. But that's cool. The Auburn way: lose and try going into politics.
Yeah, that school is funny, man. I reserve my comments for them.
They all need to focus on fixing their football program. That should be their ultimate focus.
Like the whole athletic department is just a South Park episode. It's just a whole South Park episode.
That's kind of college football in general at this point, though. I mean,
oh man, I could see that. But you know, we got some mock drafts from Matt Miller at ESPN. Not too high on Ty Simpson
Ty Simpson is falling, man. I don't know. Like, to me, if Ty Simpson gets drafted in the 2nd round when there are no quarterbacks besides Mendoza, like, that's terrible. You know what I mean? Like, it should be a surefire 1st round draft pick.
But
to me,
at the same time, like I said, I continue to tell a lot of people this football is situational. I mean, you got to look at the teams picking and stuff like that. I mean, yes, it's a lot of NFL needy teams, but I saw Todd Simpson is mocked as high as number 16 to the New York Jets with Mel Kiper last week, and then we saw in Matt Miller's mock draft they had him being picked number 44 by the Jets. So you know, a lot of stuff is situational. It's really just the 15 starts for Ty Simpson, just having 15 career starts. I mean, yes, we've seen quarterbacks go higher, like Anthony Richardson. I wonder how that's working out for the Indianapolis Colts now. But I think he had less starts than Ty Simpson. He was able to go just by off of his ceiling and athleticism. Obviously, he hasn't materialized in the NFL, but either way, I feel like Ty Simpson, he got the mental fortitude upstairs, and he got everything in terms of, you know, throwing the football and stuff like that. He's more of a pure thrower of the football, and people give him credit for it. And he has a lot of toughness, more tough than people give him credit for. So I feel like wherever he lands is going to be, obviously, like I said, football situational. But wherever he lands, he's going to have the right mindset to overcome whatever deficiencies around him. But him falling in the second round, that couldn't be a bad thing. But it's just, like you said, Jeffrey. I think this is the first time in probably almost 10 years that if that were to happen, that it's only one quarterback being taken out of all 32 teams in the first round. There's only one quarterback being taken. I mean, that is definitely this. They said the quarterback class was weak, but like God, so
didn't that happen with Kenny Pickett?
Yeah,
that year, 2022 or whatever year he got drafted.
2022.
He was the only one taken in the first round. So it'd be the first time since that year. But I know what you mean though. Like in general, like it's not common. And to me, it's just like Dante Moore comes back to college. Obviously, he would have been drafted in the first round. You know, you've got the whole Trinidad Shambles thing. It's like he wants to come back. He's still
fighting. He's still fighting.
And it's like he could maybe get drafted in the first. Maybe Ty Simpson, I still think should get looked at in the first round. It's just weird. I mean, like obviously it would make sense for the Jets to draft him in the second round, not use him. Don't waste your first round pick on Ty Simpson at number 2. Get a good defender. Get some whatever you need. You know, that makes sense. But the fact that nobody else in the first round, nobody, not like as Jackson pointed out, like the Rams. You know, hey, Stafford is old. Maybe you draft Ty Simpson and he's your backup and, you know, like to Stafford for the next year or two, whatever. And then maybe it's, you know, he'll get his chance. I don't know. They don't want to go that route, obviously, according to the drafts that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
The Browns are in the first round. They always could use a QB. You know, again, it's just strange that Ty Simpson looks like he's going to end up falling to the second round. It doesn't mean that he will, but I just thought with how weak the QB class was. And honestly, I'm not saying the class is weak overall, but I mean, some of the players that are being mock drafted in the first round, especially the back end of the first round, they're not strong. They're not strong. So, I mean, Ty Simpson had a great year outside of the last 3 or 4 games. He was amazing in the first 8 to 9 games. I'm just shocked he's falling this far. I really am.
Well, and I think honestly, you know, because you were talking a little while ago about Anthony Richardson when he got hyped up in 2023. Yeah, because it was like they showed the what? Yeah, because I remember on ESPN like that
run against Utah, Jackson. It was the run against Utah,
right? It was like that's all they showed. It was like that's all they showed.
They didn't show any passes because he didn't have any. And no offense to Anthony Richardson, but still.
And it was like, and they never showed the stats against Florida State where he had 9 completed passes. 9 completed passes. His completion percentage in that game on Black Friday of 2022 was under 50%. That's
never been a top 10 pick, man. Just never.
Yeah, man. A lot of people saw. I guess they were trying to compare him to Cam Newton from like the the measurables being 6'5". It wasn't funny at the time. A lot of people was falling into that. So the Indianapolis Colts found out quickly when they had to call up Daniel Jones and they had to call up Phillip Rivers and stuff like that. But getting back to more of the Ty Simpson point, I just feel like it's really going to depend on how Ty Simpson does at the combine. Obviously, I'm not looking for him to run, but looking to see how he cleans up medically. He's still going through some rehab just from the Rose Bowl and stuff like that, exiting the game with a cracked rib. And then he was fighting through a bevy of injuries throughout the Alabama's regular season that a lot of people didn't know about due to the offensive line. I heard he had some elbow bursitis. I heard he had some lower body things just banged up and stuff that he just got to get cleaned up and stuff like that. But other than that, I feel like if he is able to get medically right and then he sits in front of those NFL GMs and they just see the type of person he is and they see the type of leadership skills he has and the type of how charismatic he is, I feel like that's going to help him edge his way back up higher than what he's fallen. So I definitely think this is just a premature mock draft put out by Matt Miller. Of course, analysts put out mock drafts every day. They're gonna keep putting them out. The NFL Combine doesn't start until February 23rd, so we're about 3 weeks away from that. So,
oh yeah,
and then seeing the Senior Bowl this past weekend, and even the East-West Shrine Bowl, and it was kind of funny. It's not funny to me, but it was kind of interesting to me to see that, for example, Garrett Nussmeier of LSU, he won the MVP at the Senior Bowl. So, and he has a ton more starts than Ty Simpson. So, I'm not saying he can go before Ty Simpson, but it'll be interesting to see how these teams think, how they evaluate stuff, how they put stuff into perspective. Because even when you look at Ty Simpson, the year he had at Alabama, he shouldered the most weight of any quarterback in the country, in my opinion. Because Alabama was one of the worst running football teams, in my opinion. I think it's 132 FBS teams. Alabama was like 125. They were hovering around there and stuff like that. So literally, he had no run game. It was all pedestrian. And then, not to throw any receivers under the bus, but obviously we knew Ryan Williams wasn't the receiver this past year. He had a lot of drops, and then just the inconsistency, just in the passing game and stuff like that. Even when they would get Ryan Williams to come down with a football, or Jeremy Bernard, or Isaiah Horton, they couldn't get that consistently throughout the year, just because people found out Alabama couldn't run football, so they focused on the pass game, and they basically weren't playing Alabama honest. They were kind of cheating, because we know they're not going to run football, and if they do, they're not going to get nothing but a yard or two. So putting all that in perspective, and seeing what Ty Simpson was able to do at the start of the season, when teams had to play Alabama honest because they didn't know about the offensive line being that bad at first. So with that being said, I still think there's a lot of room for Ty Simpson to grow in this pre-draft process. I'm actually banking that he does grow in this pre-draft process. So it'll just be interesting to see what teams are looking for, because like I said, it's all situational. It depends on what happens in the NFL this offseason with the free agency and stuff. I believe free agency is before the draft. I think it is. I'm not 100% sure.
Yep.
So it depends on what quarterbacks out there on the market. Even for example, Tua Tagovailoa can play a factor in that, because a lot of teams, Miami looked like they want to start a new era in Miami. I saw they got some new ownership like that. If Tua were to be traded or released, who says the Dolphins won't be looking for a quarterback? Yes, they got Quinn Ewers, but they still want to bring other quarterbacks in to compete. So I just bring up a team like that, for example, just to say there's a lot of factors that go into it. That's why I really wouldn't read too much into today's mock draft, because next week, who knows? He might jump back into the top.
It's like the stock market. Anything can go up, anything can go down.
Plus, the NFL draft, I don't follow the draft as hard as some people do, but at the same time, I do. Every year that it's on, like last 5 or 6 years, I watch a decent amount of it, and I do, even if I'm doing other things, sometimes I check to see the picks going off the board. And how they'll have a couple of the websites or whatever where you can look at the top 400 players available or whatever, and as they start getting taken off the board, there are some guys that aren't even on that top 400 on that list, on that website. Well, ESPN's, best available or whatever, CBS's prospect rankings or whatever. Some of them are not even in the top 400, and they end up getting drafted. Mock drafts or best available lists or whatever for the draft in the NFL are some of the most inaccurate lists on the planet. No offense to the people making those lists, because they try. But there are so many players, and there are so many positions in football. Basketball mock drafts tend to be a lot more accurate. They just do. There's less players, there's less draft picks, there's less positions. You more so know what the team needs or wants or what they're looking for. Football, man, you got safeties, corners. You don't know what team's going to take what. Sometimes last year there was one guy that was supposed to be a late second, early third round pick. I don't remember his name, but he was like a defensive guy or whatever for some team. He got drafted in the 6th round.
Yeah.
He was on the board forever. It was day 2, and he was on the top of ESPN's list. And then it was late in day 3, and he was still there. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, that guy hasn't been drafted yet. I don't remember who it was. Again, maybe someone remembers. My point is that you have no idea. Ty Simpson could get drafted in the top 15, or he could get drafted 3rd or 4th round. It's
yeah.
that volatile. We have no idea. I don't think so. I think Todd Simpson will at least be top 2 rounds, but the NFL draft is very volatile. You have no idea sometimes where these guys are going to go. Shadur fell to the 5th round. Everybody was losing it. So, I mean, it's just you have no idea.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Nussmeier, like you said, like he's not being talked about right now, but because he had a good, Senior Bowl, maybe he does good in the pre-draft process. He could end up getting drafted 2nd round, and you'd be like, "Wow, like what a comeback!" I mean, you have no idea.
Yeah, and plus on top of that, I was just about to get to Shadur Sanders' point, but on top of that, with Nussmeier, his dad has NFL coaching experience. You never know who talking to who. So, like, I mean, for example, with Todd Simpson, they said Todd Simpson's father reached out to a couple NFL GMs and stuff like that. Him having those connections at Tennessee Martin, and some Tennessee Martin players have. GMs come to every level of football just to see who's what. So, on top of that, it'll just be interesting to see. Obviously, Todd Simpson's father, like I said, they told him that Todd Simpson had a 1st round grade. So, it depends on who you ask. So, literally, that's the type of situation Alabama is dealing with. But just another point I want to bring up about it, seeing that mock draft had no Alabama's players picked in the 1st round. That's kind of crazy to me. I don't think I've ever seen a draft where Alabama hasn't had a player picked in the 1st round. Looking at the rest of that mock draft, they said they had. Wow. Yeah, they said they had Jeremy Bernard going to pick number 34 to the Arizona Cardinals. They had Caden Proctor, who I thought would be a 1st rounder just off of his size and stuff like that. And he'll be able to switch positions. He's an offensive tackle, but he'll be able to, drop some weight and stuff like that. They had him going to Tennessee at pick number 35. Obviously, Todd Simpson picked 44 to the Jets, and then they had LT Overton to the Baltimore Ravens at pick 45. And LT Overton just flashed this past weekend at the Senior Bowl. But just saying, like, if that did happen if Matt Miller's projections were correct in terms of not having any Alabamas picked in the 1st round, that would kind of be crazy to me. That I don't believe I live in a world where I've seen no Alabama players picked in the 1st round, and I definitely think they have at least one 1st round worthy player, whether that is Caden Proctor or whether that is LT Overton or even. I don't think Jeremy Bernard going to be picked in the 1st round just because just what team needs and stuff like that. But he's going to be a valuable player. But still the same, like I'm just getting back to my original point. If that were to happen, that means no Alabama players are picked in the 1st round. I don't remember a time seeing that. I wonder if y'all have, but yeah, that's just my takeaway from that.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Honestly, I can look up on like Wikipedia because they got like NFL draft selections per year or whatever. So yeah, we can actually look at that. I don't know if it's been since I've been alive at all.
Yeah, literally. I just said I don't think I live in a world where I've seen that happen.
Yeah, let's pull this up.
Oh, here we go.
So I've got it right here. A list of Alabama Crimson in the draft. I'm in the 80s right now. Scroll through. All right. So
oh man, last time we didn't have a 1st round pick was 07.
Yeah, so Saban getting hired. So yeah, 2007. Yeah. That's it. Yep. You had a 4th round, a 7th, and a 7th in 2007.
Yep.
2008, no selections. And then 2009, so since that era, 08, 07, 08. And then after that, Alabama was on fire. Just telling it every year.
Oh, so, I forgot to pull this up. My bad.
But so they haven't seen it at all? Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, again, 2007, 4th round, 7th round, 7th round, and then no selections in 08. And then 09 had 1. And then as you see, the list just keep getting longer. 2010, 2011, Julio, Ingram, 2012, Hightower. You start like Lacey. Man, like look at this.
Yeah, Alabama used to just really own the draft. That just shows how dominant Nick Saban was. Because I remember it was a time where in the top 10 to 12 picks, Alabama will at least have 4 names called. So that's kind of
last year we had 2.
Yeah.
So, but you even saw last year it was shorter. Like even last year, our we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 selections, but like the year before that, 2024, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like it is trending down. 2023 we had more than 10. 2022 we had a lot. I mean, it's just, I mean, if we don't have a first round pick, it's not the end of the world, but it does kind of show a trend that we are kind of going downhill. I mean, we have 4 guys though, like you said, with the Matt Miller, mock draft that are right there. Bernard could get picked in the first. Proctor rather. Simpson, and then Overton all have a chance. They all have a shot to get drafted. Honestly, I think Bernard would get drafted in the first round, but like you said, situationally with teams. But there's also it's a receiver heavy draft. Yeah. Because in my opinion, I even think guys like at Indiana, like Cooper Jr. and Surratt, should easily be first or second round picks. They might be second to third, like late. It's a very receiver heavy draft. Chris Bell was amazing at Louisville, and he's late second on a lot of drafts, early third. And I'm like, he was great. So yeah, this is just not the draft for receivers. If you're not like Tyson at the top or some of these other guys,
Carnell Tate.
It's very heavy. Receivers probably the strongest position in the draft. And then with Proctor, he's just so inconsistent.
Yeah,
he is a great player, but teams and these draft guys that they're prioritizing consistency. If you're consistent, even if you're not elite, they'll be higher on you than a guy that 50% of the time is amazing, and then the other 50% he's just not good at all. And I do think Proctor shook some of that off this year, but there were still moments where he wasn't good, and that's kind of the problem with him.
Yeah, and I don't want to blame that on Coach Chris Kapovich, but that's the dude that was coaching them. So that kind of falls back on him too. I mean, Alabama still was able to get Tyler Booker in the NFL last year, but I feel like that was off the ability of Tyler Booker mostly, because now he's starting for the Dallas Cowboys, and he was kind of one of their better offensive linemen this past year. But it's all just about development. So I mean, it might just be good that even if, for example, Caden Proctor, if he did fall a little bit, I feel like that could be good, because you might go to a better team that has better coaches and better developmental things. And the same thing could be said for Simpson. So, but I just wouldn't overreact too early, because, like I said, we literally in day 2 of February. So I mean, the combine gonna say a lot this week.
For me, Matt Miller and friends at ESPN are overreacting. And, because it's like we haven't had the drills yet. We haven't seen who's going to seed behind the scenes, honestly. We haven't seen that yet. Because if you
makes a big difference.
Yeah, those meetings are very heavy. I mean, just like, for example, like with Shadur last year, he bombed some of those meetings, man, just with his personality and stuff like that. But that could work in Ty Simpson's favor, because we know the type of dude he is, literally. And then I feel like with him, this whole Miami fiasco with them offering the money and him staying loyal to the Crimson Tide, some GM is going to value that loyalty. I promise you, that's definitely going to help him. I mean, everybody's saying he gave up over $3 million, but I feel like Ty Simpson will see that money again. I mean, tomorrow not promised, but I feel like just that loyalty and how as charismatic as he is, and how down to earth he is, and how he always he says the right things. I feel like that's just gonna play in his favor. So I feel like he can definitely benefit from sitting down with these GMs and seeing them face to face, and they really ask him, "Hey, what happened this year at Alabama? What really happened?" And he won't throw anybody under the bus. He'll probably try to shoulder a lot of the blame, but I definitely think him sitting down and going to Indianapolis and meeting with them GMs, that's definitely going to work in his favor. So I definitely think the mock drafts it's a long way from being over, for sure. So I wouldn't read too much into it today.
Yeah, it's nothing to really worry about at the moment, like you said, because it's all about what counts in those meetings and how you doing them. Because you succeed in them, everything's going to be good to go. Be taking care of business. Oh, man. Well, gentlemen, before we sign off for the night, we'll start with you, Travion, then we'll go with Jeffrey, and then we'll end it with myself. Just kind of tell everybody what we've got going on. Trev, what you got going on Bama Hammer? all right there.
Obviously, like I said, I'm always writing. I'm always looking for ideas and stuff like that. I'm looking for some underrated ideas, because it's that time of the off season where it's kind of getting dead and stuff like that, and originality definitely stands out. So I got me a little idea board in my room, and seeing what other writers are writing about, not stealing ideas, but just trying to think of it from another way, spin it another way, and I was able to do that today. I got a couple articles out today about some younger players and some stuff like that, and the future of Alabama football, because the future is here now. They're going to be playing a lot of younger players, so I'm just trying to think about it from a different way, turn things upside down, and just see what I can craft from it. But yeah, if you definitely want to check me out to see what those ideas materialize into, you can tap in on my X at TWR1K. I post a story today at least, so I'm always having the story out. My links in my bio to my stories. My stories are pretty accessible. And yeah, you don't even have to press the link. You can just scroll down my page. You'll see a story, and it'll take you to the rest. So tap in with me at TWR1K on X, and the link's in the bio. And I definitely appreciate it. It's definitely appreciated.
There you go. Tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Post about the magic that Trevion creates all right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football, Bama Hammer at Fansided, and on TWR1K on @/Twitter. Tune in for more. Jeffrey, what magic are you cooking up this week? I know you and Will did some magic on a NFL draft, your takes on the mock draft. I saw bits, piece by it, and see the full thing.
Oh, I appreciate that, Jackson. Yeah, me and Will did go live earlier tonight, and we talked about the draft. We talked about some other crazy stuff going on in the sports world right now. So if you want to check that out, definitely would appreciate that. We try to go live once a week, and talk about stuff. Like Travion said, it's kind of a dead time right now, though. So just kind of pulling stuff out. We were even looking at some early predictions for 2026 that will probably age horribly. So reacting to that, it was pretty fun, but definitely.
I hope that Doctorman guy is right.
I know you are.
I want Notre Dame, Michigan, Notre Dame, Michigan State, and Notre Dame, USC.
That cracked me up. That's
hilarious. That's like I want that so bad.
But also follow me on X as well if you want updates for when I'm going live or when going live on Alabama, the Voice of College Football. But most importantly, subscribe to Alabama, the Voice of College Football. All off season, we're going to be here talking Alabama with you, even during the dead times. Whether it's football, basketball news, team news that's going on. So it's gonna always be a great time. We appreciate you guys and all the support, and couldn't do it without you.
Tell your friends, family, and the cashiers Post about the magic that Jeffrey creates. All right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football, and at Only Talk Sports, where he talks sports every single day, or at least he tries to. I'm looking forward to that Super Bowl 60 prediction. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm going to tap in myself. I saw you on there earlier. I'm going to drop a like or something. I give you something, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Let's help Jeffrey get to 3,000 subs, ladies and gentlemen. And, of course, I'm keeping busy as well, like a busy little bee, especially in the month of February. Tonight, in about a few minutes, I'll be joined by Cole Thompson of SEC Unfiltered to discuss a lot of things on SEC Live 34 on SEC at the Voice of College Football, including this alleged tampering accusation on Ole Miss. We'll be talking a little bit about Pete Golding. We'll be talking a lot about LSU. We'll be talking about the hot seat tiers list entering the 2026 season and much more. Later this week, I'll have episodes 97, 98 of the Jackson coming up, where I'll be joined by Mike Debate of Patriots on SI and Mookie Alexander of the Seahawks site on SB Nation, previewing Super Bowl 60. That's going to be a fun one. And for more updates, what I've got going on Alabama with the Voice of College Football, including tomorrow for Primetime Live with Trevion on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Time, and what I've got going on the Voice of College Football website, much more. Check me out on Jackson VOCFB on @/Twitter and on Instagram and Facebook, Jackson Johnson 543-908. And with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to Alabama with the Voice of College Football so you never miss no video whatsoever. And we will see y'all soon. And roll Tide.